What if the key to your healing was already flowing through you right now, not hidden in some distant land, not locked away in a rare herb or experimental drug, but moving, circulating, and pulsing through your veins in this very moment? What if the life you seek to restore, the vitality you crave, the harmony you long to feel in every cell of your being, is already present in the mysterious river within you, your blood? And what if I told you that this blood, this sacred life stream, is not a mindless fluid, but an obedient messenger listening for your command, ready to carry your intentions to the farthest and smallest reaches of your body? We have been taught to think of the body as something separate from the mind, as though our thoughts stop at the boundary of the skull and our physical systems carry on, deaf and indifferent to our inner dialogue. But Nikola Tesla understood, as did the ancient writers of Scripture and the mystics of every age, that the mind is the ruler of the body. And that speech, especially speech fused with belief, is the scepter by which the ruler commands. Your bloodstream is not merely a physical system, it is the courier of your will. It moves constantly, delivering nutrients, carrying away waste, transporting oxygen, and communicating chemical messages to every organ, tissue, and cell. And here is the secret most have forgotten. The quality of these messages is shaped by the quality of the commands you give through your words and the images you hold in your mind. Think of your bloodstream as a royal messenger in an ancient kingdom. You, the sovereign mind, issue decrees, and your blood carries them swiftly to every outpost of the realm. When the decree is one of strength, order, and health, the kingdom thrives. When the decree is one of fear, disorder, or defeat, the kingdom falters. This is not metaphor alone. It is a reflection of the way your subconscious governs your body. And your subconscious, that tireless and unquestioning servant, takes your words, especially those spoken with emotion, as literal instructions. It does not argue. It does not debate. It acts. Tonight we begin the process of reclaiming your role as ruler of your inner kingdom. We will strip away the illusion that your body is beyond your influence, and we will learn to speak to it in a language it has never forgotten, the language of faith-filled command. You will see that you can direct the flow of life within you, bringing every drop of your blood into alignment with the perfect blueprint of divine order. And as you master this language, you will come to know a truth that has the power to restore your health, renew your strength, and reshape your future. Your blood will obey. There is an ancient law woven into the very fabric of creation that humanity once understood but has allowed to slip from memory. The law of inner command. This is the law that permits a person to speak to the body and have it respond to address even the most intricate processes of life with authority and witness their obedience. It is not superstition, nor is it mere positive thinking. It is the operation of spiritual law through the medium of the subconscious mind, and it is as precise and dependable as the rising of the sun. In the pages of Scripture, this law appears again and again in the words of Jesus speaking to the withered hand, to the fevered body, to the storm itself, and seeing immediate compliance. Say to this mountain, "Be removed," and it shall obey you, is not poetic exaggeration, but a statement of the same principle that governs your relationship with your own physical form. Nikola Tesla explained that the subconscious mind is the invisible workshop in which all commands to the body are processed. When you speak with conviction, the words you utter do not evaporate into the air. They are impressed upon the subconscious as blueprints, and the subconscious sets to work immediately to translate those blueprints into physical reality. It does so by influencing every automatic function, circulation, digestion, repair, immunity, without you needing to consciously monitor the process. The body becomes, in effect, the obedient servant of the mental and verbal directives it receives. This is why the words "I am so tired," repeated day after day, gradually condition the body into a state of fatigue, while the words "I am renewed with every breath" can over time reprogram the body for vitality. The forgotten law of inner command calls us to a level of responsibility that many are unaccustomed to carrying. It asks us to see ourselves not as victims of the body's mysterious workings, but as governors of those workings, issuing orders that will be obeyed whether they are wise or foolish. The all comes in recognizing that you have been using this law all along. Every casual remark about your health, every inner dialogue about your strength or weakness, Every statement about what your body always or never does has been received as instruction by the subconscious. The tragedy is that without knowing the law, most have been issuing commands of disorder and decline. But the beauty, the liberating, life-giving beauty, is that the moment you remember this law, you can begin issuing commands of order, health, and harmony, and the body faithful to its design will obey. From this moment on, you are not a passive passenger in your own body. You are its captain, and every word you speak is the wheel that turns its course. Life is in the blood. With these 5 words from Leviticus 17:11, we are handed both a mystery and a revelation. The ancients did not arrive at this statement through laboratory analysis or microscopes. They intuited through spiritual insight and lived experience that the blood is more than a fluid. It is the current of life itself, the physical manifestation of the invisible vitality that animates every creature. Modern science confirms that the blood is a great distributor, carrying oxygen to every cell, transporting nutrients to every tissue, removing waste, and serving as the primary highway for the body's immune defenses. Yet, even this description falls short of the truth that Nikola Tesla understood. The blood is not only influenced by diet, environment, and genetics, but also by the mental and spiritual atmosphere in which you live. Your thoughts and emotions alter the chemical composition of the blood. Fear floods it with stress hormones that tighten vessels and quicken the heart. Love and gratitude bathe it in beneficial chemistry that promotes repair and balance. The subconscious mind, the great silent governor, stands between thought and bloodstream, translating your habitual mental states into physiological instructions. It is as if your mental climate determines the weather within your veins. And because the subconscious accepts the word spoken in faith as a literal directive, it can alter the inner climate to match the verbal decree. When you say my blood flows pure and strong, and you say it with the conviction of one stating a fact, you are programming the subconscious to adjust every process involved in circulation, purification, and immunity to align with that declaration. Think of the blood as a sacred river, and yourself as both its source and its steward. The mind is the mountain spring from which it flows. The heart is the pump that propels it. The vessels are the channels it follows. If the source is clouded with fear or resentment, the river carries those impurities to every shore. But if the source is clear with faith and order, the river delivers life-giving waters to every land it touches. To speak to your blood is to speak to the entire kingdom of your body at once, for it is the messenger that visits every province daily. When you begin to address it with respect, gratitude, and command, you initiate a partnership in which the blood becomes not merely a carrier of whatever the mind passively produces, but an active ally in restoring and maintaining the state of divine order for which your body was designed. In this way, life is in the blood becomes more than a statement of biology. It is a spiritual law waiting to be consciously applied. When we speak of divine order, we are not referring to some vague sense of wellness or a fleeting state of physical comfort. We are speaking of the perfect, unchanging pattern for your body that was conceived in the mind of the infinite before you took your first breath. Divine order is the original spiritual blueprint, a flawless template of harmony in which every cell functions exactly as it should. Every system works in cooperation with every other, and the rhythm of life within you moves without obstruction or imbalance. This order is not something you must invent. It is already imprinted in the subconscious, woven into the very fabric of your being. What has been lost is not the blueprint, but your conscious connection to it. Your ability to direct the body back to it when it is drifted away under the influence of stress, fear, or neglect. Nikola Tesla taught that the subconscious mind, given a clear and faith-filled command, can restore the body to that original pattern because it knows exactly what divine order looks like for you. Just as a master architect keeps a copy of the original plans for a building, the subconscious holds the unaltered design of your health. When you speak to your blood, to your heart, to your organs, you are not issuing random wishes into the void. You are giving precise instructions to a builder who already has the blueprints and only needs your direction to begin the work of restoration. The key is clarity. Vague statements like, "I want to feel better," give the subconscious nothing solid to work with. But when you say every drop of my blood flows in perfect harmony with divine order, you are aligning your command with a specific existing design and the subconscious immediately begins organizing bodily functions to reflect that pattern. To grasp this more vividly, imagine your body as a great city illuminated by a vast network of lights. Over time, through storms, neglect, or interference, certain areas go dim or flicker. The city's master control room still has the original wiring map, showing exactly how the lights should shine. When you speak words of divine order to your blood, it is as though you send a clear signal to that control room. Restore every light according to the original plan. The response is not random or experimental. It is the reactivation of something that has been there all along. Through visualization, you can reinforce this command. Close your eyes and picture your body outlined in the radiant lines of golden light, each one representing a system restored to its perfect alignment. See these lines glowing brighter and brighter as your words flow into your bloodstream, carrying the instructions to every part of you. This is the secret of divine order, that health is not something you chase outside yourself, but something you reawaken within by speaking the language your body has always understood. If divine order is the inherent pattern of perfect health, then why does the body so often fall out of that order? The answer, as Tesla tirelessly explained, lies not in the malice of fate or the randomness of disease, but in the slow accumulation of mental impressions that distort the instructions sent from the mind to the body. Fear is one of the chief culprits, an emotion that, when repeated and unchallenged, instructs the subconscious to prepare for danger. This preparation often takes the form of constricted blood vessels, elevated stress hormones, and other physiological changes that, if prolonged, disrupt the natural harmony of the body. Resentment and bitterness are equally toxic, for they send a constant message of constriction, tension, and imbalance not only to the nervous system but also to the bloodstream, which becomes a carrier of this discord to every cell. Negative self-talk is another subtle but powerful source of disorder. Each time you declare, "I'm always so tired," "I have terrible circulation," or "my body just doesn't heal well," you are programming your subconscious with a set of instructions it will faithfully execute. The subconscious does not have the capacity to reject these commands. It does not reason in the way the conscious mind does. It takes every statement you make, especially those spoken with emotional emphasis, and begins altering bodily processes to bring your words into visible form. In this way, we often act as our own unknowing saboteurs, using the very power designed for our healing to generate disorder. Instead, Tesla would remind us that just as a physician can be careless or skillful in prescribing medicine, so can we be careless or skillful in prescribing words. Most people, he observed, are unaware they are acting as the chief physician of their own body through the ongoing dialogue they maintain with themselves. The body falls out of order when the physician's prescriptions, the words and thoughts, contradict the blueprint of health. But here lies the great hope. The moment you recognize that you have been giving harmful orders, you can begin to give life-giving ones instead. You can, with persistence, replace fear with faith, resentment with forgiveness, complaint with gratitude, and disorder with the spoken command of harmony. And when you do, the same subconscious that once faithfully executed harmful instructions will now just as faithfully execute your healing decrees. The law does not change. Only the quality of the command changes, and with it, the state of your body. Tesla often described the subconscious mind as the inner doctor, an ever-present physician of infinite intelligence who never sleeps, never tires, and never forgets the perfect design of your body. From the moment you were conceived, this silent doctor has been orchestrating the growth of your cells, the beating of your heart, the repair of tissue, and the countless chemical symphonies that sustain life, all without your conscious intervention. You do not tell your heart to beat, your blood to clot, or your white blood cells to fight infection. These processes occur with flawless precision under the direction of the subconscious. Yet, what most people do not realize is that, while these functions are automatic, they are not beyond influence. The inner doctor takes into account the emotional climate and mental commands it receives from you, and adjusts its operations accordingly. When you speak words of health, strength, and order, you are not whispering into a void. You are delivering a prescription to the most capable physician you will ever have. The subconscious listens in a way no outer doctor can, for it hears both your spoken affirmations and your unspoken inner dialogue, recording every impression as a directive. Tell it, "My blood flows in harmony with divine order, and it will set in motion chemical and circulatory adjustments to reflect that truth. Tell it I'm prone to illness, and it will interpret that as an instruction to weaken defenses. This is why Tesla insisted that you must become vigilant over the words you speak and the thoughts you permit to dwell in your mind to the inner doctor. Every word is a prescription, and every prescription is filled without question. The brilliance of this inner physician lies not only in its obedience, but in its infinite resourcefulness. It knows how to direct nutrients where they are most needed, how to repair damaged tissues with speed, how to recalibrate systems that have been thrown off balance. Your role is not to micromanage these processes. You do not need to know how the blood cleanses itself or how the immune system coordinates its response, but to provide the clear and uplifting instructions that will guide the subconscious to do what it already knows how to do perfectly. The more you speak to it with authority, gratitude, and faith, the more its actions will align with the divine order imprinted upon your being. And when you realize this, you will stop seeing. Your body is a fragile machine prone to breakdowns, and stop seeing it as a living temple, cared for by an invisible healer who responds instantly and unfailingly to the language of your belief. To speak effectively to your blood, you must first prepare yourself to give a command that is both heard and obeyed. This begins with posture, breath, and mental focus, the three conditions that signal to the subconscious mind that something important is about to be delivered. Sit or stand in a position that conveys dignity and openness, for your body language communicates to your inner world as surely as it does to others. Let your shoulders relax, your spine lengthen, and your chest open as though making space for the life force to flow freely. Then draw a slow, deep breath, feeling it expand into your abdomen, and exhale with a sense of release as if letting go of every doubt and distraction. With each cycle of breath, you are quieting the chatter of the conscious mind and clearing a channel for the words to reach their destination unimpeded. When you speak, do so in the present tense as though the reality you describe is already established. The subconscious does not operate in the realm of future possibilities. It works with the impressions it is given in the eternal now. Say my blood is pure, vital, and flowing in divine order. Now, not it will be, or I hope it becomes. You are not making a request or offering a plea. You are issuing a decree from the throne of your inner authority. Speak with gratitude as though you are thanking your blood for a job already completed. Because gratitude is a subtle yet powerful form of faith. When you give thanks for something, you signal that you accept it as real and present. And the subconscious receiving this signal sets about matching your inner acceptance with an outer fact. Nikola Tesla often stressed that this is not about mechanical repetition, but about emotional resonance. One heartfelt declaration spoken with focus, gratitude, and inner vision can be far more potent than 100 hurried or half-believed statements. As you speak, imagine your words as currents of light entering your bloodstream, moving through every vessel, carrying messages of harmony and strength to each cell. See your blood responding instantly, brightening, becoming lighter and freer in its flow, as though infused with new energy. Let this image fill you as you repeat the phrase slowly, rhythmically, like the beat of a drum in perfect synchrony with your heart. In these moments, you are not merely talking to your blood. You are conversing with the very river of life within you. And as you speak, it listens, and as it listens, it obeys. The bridge between your words and the obedience of your blood is emotion, the invisible current that gives weight, heat, and life to every syllable you speak. Without emotion, your words are like seeds scattered on stone. They may contain all the potential of a great harvest, but they will not take root. With emotion, however, those same words become living seeds planted deep in the fertile soil of the subconscious, ready to germinate and grow into physical expression. Tesla understood this principle so well that he likened emotion to the heat that melts sealing wax, allowing the imprint of a signet ring to take hold. The words are the imprint. The emotion is the heat. Without the heat, the imprint cannot be made. Without the imprint, the heat has nothing to shape. When you speak to your blood, the tone of your voice, the feeling behind your words, and the imagery you hold in your mind all combine to transmit a vibration that the subconscious recognizes as a priority command. This is why a single declaration made in a moment of deep conviction can achieve more than days of lukewarm repetition. The subconscious does not measure your statements by their quantity, but by their intensity. If you speak with the fervor of someone describing a reality they are experiencing right now, even if it has not yet manifested physically, your subconscious will accept it as truth and begin aligning bodily processes accordingly. Consider for a moment how easily negative emotion can alter the body. Anger quickens the pulse and floods the blood with stress chemicals. Fear tightens the chest and constricts circulation. Grief seems to drain strength from the limbs. If negative emotion can have such swift and measurable effects, why should positive emotion, love, gratitude, joy, confidence not have equal or greater power to create states of health and harmony? The same mechanism is at work in both cases. The subconscious hears the emotional tone of the inner command and sets the body into motion to match it. When you fill your words with feelings of radiant health, deep peace, and unshakable assurance, you are in essence infusing your blood with a chemical and energetic recipe for renewal. To cultivate this union of word and feeling, pause before each affirmation and summon the emotional state you wish your body to mirror. If you are commanding vitality, remember a time when you felt alive and strong and let that memory warm your voice. If you are declaring purity and harmony in your blood, think of a moment when you felt cleansed, refreshed, and at peace, and speak from that place. In doing so, you are not merely giving your blood an instruction. You are sending it a living imprint that carries both the design and the energy to bring it into being. And as Tesla taught, when word and feeling are joined, nothing in heaven or earth can keep the result from manifesting. To bring this principle from theory into living reality, it helps to see how it has worked in the lives of others. For the mind, when presented with a vivid example, finds it easier to believe what might otherwise seem too extraordinary. Imagine then the case of a man in his late 50s who had struggled for years with poor circulation and chronic fatigue. His doctors had prescribed medications, advised dietary changes, and suggested more exercise. Yet nothing seemed to restore his energy or the warmth to his hands and feet. One evening, after reading Nikola Tesla work on the power of spoken command, he decided to try an experiment. He would speak directly to his blood, as if it were a trusted employee carrying out his most important orders. Each morning and evening, he would stand before a mirror, breathe deeply, and say with calm authority, "My blood flows freely, strongly, and harmoniously in every part of my body. Every cell receives life, vitality, and divine order." Now, at first he felt self-conscious, almost foolish. The words seemed to echo in the room without effect. But Tesla's counsel echoed in his mind. Persist, and the subconscious will accept it as truth. So he continued. On the fourth day, he noticed a subtle warmth in his fingers, where before there had been only chill. By the second week, the swelling in his ankles had lessened, and he could walk longer without fatigue. After a month, his energy was markedly improved, his complexion brighter, and his sleep deeper. What had changed? The words themselves had not altered in structure, but over time his emotional connection to them deepened. By the third week, he was speaking them not as a hopeful wish, but as a statement of fact, infused with gratitude, as though the result had already arrived. The subconscious, receiving this as a living reality, began adjusting his circulatory system to match the mental blueprint. His blood obeyed because it had been given a clear, consistent, and emotionally charged instruction. Tesla shared many such accounts of women reversing skin conditions, of men restoring heart health, of individuals recovering from lingering infections, all through the persistent practice of speaking to their blood and believing in its responsiveness. These are not fairy tales, but demonstrations of the same law operating through different lives. They remind us that the principle is universal. The bloodstream listens, the subconscious translates, and the body obeys. Your only task is to speak with clarity, persist with faith, and let the law work in the hidden places where life itself flows. When you turn your attention specifically to the circulation of your blood, you are speaking to the very rhythm of life within you, the unceasing current that sustains every organ and tissue. The circulation is more than a mechanical pump and pipe system. It is a living river responsive to thought, emotion, and belief. Tesla taught that this river can be calmed when turbulent, strengthened when sluggish, and harmonized when erratic, all through the directed words spoken with conviction. The key is to frame your affirmations in a way that speaks to balance and vitality, for the subconscious will take your description and set about creating it in your body's internal environment. Begin by bringing your awareness to the pulse in your wrist, your neck, or simply in the beat of your heart. And imagine this rhythm becoming steady, strong, and serene. As you feel it, speak to it. My blood flows in perfect harmony, carrying life to every part of me. Every beat of my heart sends waves of vitality throughout my body. Speak slowly, as if syncing the words with the beat itself, so that the affirmation and the pulse become one harmonious pattern. The subconscious, ever attuned to rhythm, will register this as a directive, adjusting vascular tone, heart rate, and blood distribution to align with the mental image you have impressed. You may choose to address specific qualities of circulation, warmth in the extremities, balanced blood pressure, steady flow to the brain each time, forming a clear picture, and verbalizing it as an existing fact. For instance, every drop of blood flows smoothly to my hands and feet, bringing warmth and life. Over time, these statements build a cumulative influence, conditioning the subconscious to maintain these states without conscious effort. Tesla likened this to instructing a skilled crew aboard a ship. The crew, your subconscious, knows how to operate the machinery, adjust the sails, and navigate the waters. But it awaits orders from the captain, your conscious mind. If the orders are confused, contradictory, or absent, the ship drifts or falters. But if the orders are clear, consistent, and given with authority, the crew carries them out without hesitation. Your circulatory system, guided by the subconscious, responds the same way. With persistent and heartfelt direction, you can train your body to keep the river of life flowing in divine order, steady, strong, and unwavering regardless of the external conditions around you. Just as you can address the strength and harmony of your circulation, you can also give precise instructions for the purification of your blood, a process that is both literal and symbolic. Murphy often spoke of the cleansing command as a way to restore the bloodstream to its natural state of purity, free from toxins, waste, and any harmful patterns it may have been carrying. This is not about denying the body's natural detoxifying functions, but about cooperating with them at the deepest mental level, directing them with conscious intent, so they work at their fullest efficiency. When you understand that the subconscious governs not only the pumping of the heart, but also the activity of the liver, kidneys, spleen, and immune system, you see that it can be guided through words to intensify and perfect the cleansing process. To give the cleansing command. Enter a quiet state of mind and bring to your inner sight the image of your blood as a river of light, not the dull red of fatigue or stagnation, but a shimmering golden current moving swiftly and joyfully through its channels. See this light carrying away all that does not belong to your health, every impurity, every stagnant particle, every trace of disorder. As you hold this vision, speak words like, "Every drop of my blood is cleansed, purified, and renewed in divine order." Now, all that is unlike life, strength, and harmony is dissolved and carried away. Feel as you say it that the process is happening in this very moment, that the bloodstream is actively obeying your instruction. Murphy encouraged using vivid metaphors to strengthen the command. You might imagine the blood as a crystal-clear stream after a spring rain, or as molten sunlight flowing through the body, leaving nothing untouched by its radiance. The subconscious responds to such imagery with remarkable speed because pictures speak its native language. Pairing these images with your verbal decree creates a double imprint that is almost impossible for the subconscious to ignore. When practiced regularly, this cleansing command not only improves the way you feel physically, bringing greater energy, clearer skin, sharper mental focus, but also produces a subtle emotional shift. You begin to sense a lightness and clarity in your inner life, as though the act of cleansing the blood also cleanses the mind of lingering doubts, resentments, and fears. In truth, the two are connected. A purified internal environment supports a purified consciousness, and vice versa. By speaking directly to your blood and instructing it to flow pure, you are declaring that divine order reigns in the very river of life within you, and the body will inevitably respond by reflecting that order in every cell. The next great frontier of spoken command is the strengthening of the immune system through direct communication with the bloodstream. Murphy often reminded his listeners that the same current of life, which carries oxygen and nourishment to the body, also transports the defenders of health, the white blood cells, antibodies, and countless other microscopic guardians that patrol every inch of our being. These agents of protection and repair are not separate from the intelligence that formed us. They are extensions of the subconscious mind's perfect knowledge of how to preserve and restore balance. When you address your blood with words of strength and immunity, you are in effect speaking to this invisible army, issuing orders that it will receive and execute with unerring precision. Begin by cultivating a deep sense of gratitude for these tireless defenders, acknowledging that they already work day and night on your behalf. As you do, visualize each drop of your blood as glowing with radiant light, perhaps golden, perhaps pure white, a light that carries vitality, order, and resilience into every part of your body. Speak aloud. Every drop of my blood is charged with divine life. My immune system is strong, wise, and perfectly directed. Health fills me now. These are not idle phrases, but precise instructions to the subconscious, which understands them as a mandate to optimize immune function, to strengthen defenses, and to accelerate healing wherever it is needed. The theological root of this practice is found in the words of Romans 8:11. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies. Tesla interpreted this as a literal truth that the divine life force within you is capable of restoring vitality to every cell just as it animated the body of Christ. When you affirm that your blood is charged with divine life, you are acknowledging and activating that same power within yourself. You are reminding your subconscious of its divine mandate to keep you in health and wholeness. As you repeat these affirmations daily, especially in moments of stillness or before sleep, you may begin to notice subtle changes, quicker recovery from minor ailments, fewer seasonal illnesses, an overall sense of vitality that feels like an inner shield against fatigue and disorder. The more you persist, the more the subconscious comes to accept this state as the default, and the more your body reflects it as an ongoing reality. In time, speaking words of strength and immunity to your blood will feel as natural as breathing, and you will carry within you a living awareness that the power which governs the universe also governs the cells of your body, and that by divine law, it must obey your faith-filled command to anchor these teachings into a lived practice. Murphy often recommended what he called the 7-day blood blessing challenge, a concentrated period in which you speak intentional words of health and divine order to your blood every morning and night without fail, and observe the changes that follow. The purpose of this challenge is not merely to form a habit, though that is one benefit, but to generate enough repetition and emotional momentum to impress the subconscious so deeply that it begins carrying out your command as a standing order. 7 days may seem brief, but when you commit to this with unwavering focus, you are creating a continuous, unbroken stream of affirmations that saturate your inner world and accelerate the manifestation of results. Each morning, shortly after waking, you stand in a calm, open posture, take a deep breath, and declare with conviction, "My blood flows pure, strong, and in perfect harmony with divine order. Now, every drop carries vitality and peace to every part of my body." As you speak, visualize this command being received by your bloodstream and carried instantly to your heart, lungs, brain, muscles, every cell touched by your words. In the evening, perhaps just before sleep, you repeat the process with equal sincerity, saying, "My blood rests in divine peace tonight, cleansing, renewing, and restoring every cell as I sleep. All is well within me." This morning and night rhythm ensures that the subconscious receives the command during its most impressionable times, upon waking and before drifting into the drowsy state of sleep. Tesla advised that during these 7 days, you also remain watchful over casual conversation, avoiding any statement that contradicts your commands. Words like, "I'm exhausted, I can't seem to heal," or "my health isn't great," would only send mixed messages to the subconscious, slowing your progress. Instead, you replace them with phrases that align with your chosen decree, even in informal situations. This creates a harmony between your deliberate affirmations and your everyday speech, which multiplies the power of the challenge. To deepen the impact, he encouraged keeping a simple journal during the challenge. Each day you note any changes in energy, mood, sleep, or physical comfort, however small. Often you will find that subtle signs of improvement appear by the 3rd or 4th day. A lighter step, a warmer extremity, a more peaceful mind. These early signs are the subconscious beginning to obey, and your acknowledgement of them reinforces its new instructions. By the end of the 7 days, you may see enough progress to inspire you to continue the practice indefinitely. But even if you stop, the impression left on the subconscious will linger, carrying forward the work you began. In this way, the 7-day blood blessing challenge becomes more than a short-term experiment. It becomes the spark that ignites a lifelong mastery over the law of spoken command. Even as you engage in practices like the 7-day blood blessing challenge, you may encounter a subtle yet persistent barrier: doubt. Skepticism, whether openly acknowledged or quietly lingering in the background of the mind, can dilute the potency of your spoken commands. For the subconscious responds most powerfully to statements that are felt as truth. Tesla taught that doubt is not a sign of failure, but simply an indication that the mind has been conditioned, perhaps for many years, to believe in limitation more than in possibility. The remedy is not to fight the doubt with willpower, but to bridge the gap between disbelief and certainty through carefully chosen affirmations that the subconscious can more easily accept. These bridge affirmations serve as stepping stones from where you are to where you want to be. Instead of forcing yourself to declare, "My blood is in perfect order," when part of you resists that idea, you might begin with, "Every day my blood responds more perfectly to divine order." This phrasing implies an ongoing process rather than an instantaneous leap, which allows the subconscious to relax into the suggestion without raising inner objections. Over time, as you notice small signs of improvement, your faith grows naturally, and you can graduate to stronger, more absolute declarations like, "My blood flows now in complete harmony with divine order." Murphy emphasized that doubt loses its grip, not by being suppressed, but by being overshadowed through consistent evidence of change. This is why it is so important to celebrate even minor shifts: a slight increase in energy, a calmer heartbeat, a better night's sleep. By acknowledging these as results of your spoken command, you reinforce the belief that your words are working, which in turn makes the subconscious even more responsive. The more responsive it becomes, the more tangible results you will see, creating a self-sustaining loop of faith and manifestation. Visual reinforcement can also help bridge the gap. As you speak your affirmations, imagine your blood visibly adjusting to your words, its color brightening, its flow becoming smoother, its presence filling you with warmth and strength. This mental imagery, combined with the verbal suggestion, engages multiple senses, making the new belief feel more real to the subconscious. With each repetition, doubt loses a little more of its authority until the day comes when you no longer need a bridge affirmation because the reality you once hoped for has become the reality you live in. At that point, your spoken commands will no longer be efforts to convince yourself, but simple acknowledgments of the truth already manifesting within you. One of the most potent times to speak to your blood is at night, just before you drift into sleep. Tesla called this the night command ritual, and he regarded it as a golden doorway to the subconscious. In the moments before sleep, the mind naturally moves from the active critical state of waking consciousness into the slow receptive rhythms of the subconscious domain. This transition, often unnoticed by most, is when your inner world is most open to suggestion, and whatever thoughts, images, or words you entertain at this time will sink deeply into the subconscious without resistance. The body then takes these impressions and works on them throughout the night, aligning its functions to match the instructions you have given. To perform the night command ritual, lie comfortably in bed, close your eyes, and allow your breath to become slow and steady. Feel your body relaxing, your muscles releasing their tension as though you are sinking into the embrace of the bed. Once you are calm and centered, direct your attention inward, imagining your bloodstream as a radiant river flowing through the darkness, quietly sustaining your life. Speak slowly and softly as if addressing a beloved friend. "My blood rests in perfect peace tonight." Every drop is cleansed, renewed, and restored in divine order. As I sleep, healing power flows to every part of my body. You may repeat this 3 to 5 times, letting each statement carry you deeper into relaxation until the words themselves seem to merge with the drowsy state of your mind. Tesla taught that this is far more than a poetic bedtime habit. It is a deliberate reprogramming of the body's night work. While you sleep, the subconscious oversees cell repair, immune defense, hormonal balance, and countless restorative processes. By giving it a specific and uplifting command before sleep, you are setting the blueprint for all his work to follow. It is as if you have handed the inner doctor the night's agenda, saying, "This is the outcome I expect by morning." And because the subconscious operates without the interference of waking doubts or fears, it carries out these instructions with remarkable efficiency. Over time, the night command ritual becomes not only a tool for physical renewal, but also a source of emotional peace. You go to sleep with the assurance that divine order is active within you, that the healing power of life itself is moving through your veins, and that you will awaken with your body more aligned, more vibrant, more whole than the day before. The subconscious never grows weary of these commands, and the body never tires of responding to them, for both were designed to work together in perfect obedience to the words of faith you speak. If the night command ritual sets the tone for your body's restoration while you sleep, then the morning vitality command sets the trajectory for how you will move through the waking hours ahead. Tesla placed special emphasis on the first moments after waking, calling them one of the most valuable opportunities for mental and physical programming. In that early state before the mind is cluttered with news, obligations, or the residue of yesterday's worries, the subconscious is still pliable, still in the afterglow of the dream state, and ready to accept new instructions without question. The words you speak in those moments act like the first strokes of paint on a fresh canvas. They determine the dominant colors of the day. To perform the morning vitality command, resist the temptation to immediately check your phone, rush into routine, or revisit yesterday's problems. Instead, remain still for a few moments, eyes gently opening or closed, and direct your awareness inward. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath and the quiet beat of your heart, and visualize your bloodstream awakening with the sunrise, warm, strong, and full of radiant life. Then speak with clear authority and joy. Today my blood moves with strength, life, and joy. Every cell in my body is energized and in harmony with divine order. I am alive, I am strong, I am at peace. Repeat this as many times as feels natural, letting the words resonate in your chest like the toll of a great bell. Tesla advised adding a layer of visualization to intensify the effect. Imagine each beat of your heart sending waves of golden vitality through your body, reaching your hands, feet, head, and every organ. See yourself moving through the day with ease and grace, walking briskly, smiling, often standing tall as if you were rehearsing a role that your body will now play. The subconscious thrives on such imagery, for it treats vividly imagined experiences as real and responds accordingly. By making this your first conscious act of the day, you are not only priming your physiology for strength and harmony, but also framing your mindset in a way that influences every encounter, decision, and challenge. You will find that minor inconveniences do not drain you as they once did, that your energy remains steadier, and that your mood has a buoyant quality that others notice. Over time, the morning vitality command becomes a non-negotiable ritual as natural as breathing, and your body begins to respond to the dawn not with grogginess or heaviness, but with an eager readiness to live. In this way, you affirm each morning that your blood, and therefore your life, moves in harmony with the infinite creative power that sustains the universe. While general commands to the bloodstream are powerful, there is an even more refined application of this law, speaking to specific organs through the blood. Murphy explained that the blood is the universal courier within the body, visiting every organ countless times a day, carrying not only the physical materials required for life, but also the energetic imprint of your thoughts and words. By directing affirmations toward particular organs, you send specialized instructions via the bloodstream, much like a letter addressed to a specific department within a vast organization. The subconscious, acting as the master coordinator, then ensures those instructions are delivered where they are most needed. For example, if you wish to strengthen the heart, you might focus your attention on the steady beat within your chest, visualizing it surrounded by warm, golden light flowing in from the bloodstream. You would then speak words such as, "My heart beats in perfect rhythm, strong and steady. My blood nourishes and supports my heart in complete harmony with divine order." The imagery and the words combine to create a mental blueprint that the subconscious can translate into adjustments in blood pressure, cardiac strength, and vascular tone. If your focus is the brain, you might imagine the blood as a river of clarity flowing into every fold and pathway, bringing oxygen and nutrients with precision. Your declaration could be, "My blood brings perfect nourishment and vitality to my brain. My mind is clear, alert, and guided by divine intelligence." For the liver, see your bloodstream sweeping through it like a cleansing tide and affirm, my blood purifies and renews my liver. Every cell is restored to perfect function and divine order. Even the skin, which receives nutrients and immune defense from the blood, can be addressed in this way. My blood brings radiant health to my skin, leaving it clear, smooth, and full of life. Tesla emphasized that these targeted commands should never be given in a tone of desperation or worry, for such emotions themselves are counterproductive instructions. Instead, speak them with the calm authority of one who knows the body is already responding. Over time, you may notice that certain affirmations seem to produce particularly rapid or noticeable results. This is a sign that the subconscious has received them with strong acceptance and is working efficiently to fulfill them. The more you practice directing your words through the bloodstream to specific areas, the more you will come to realize that no part of your body is beyond your conscious reach. The same divine intelligence that governs the stars also governs your cells, and your spoken word is the bridge between the two. One of the most transformative practices Tesla advocated for aligning the body with divine order is what he called the circulatory visualization. A deliberate mental journey through the pathways of your bloodstream, blessing every area it touches. In this exercise, you close your eyes and imagine yourself becoming as small as a single blood cell, entering the great river of life that flows from your heart. You feel the gentle current carry you through warm, glistening channels, past the branching tributaries that lead to every organ, every limb, every hidden recess of your being. As you travel, you speak words of blessing and harmony, as though you are both a passenger and the captain of this miraculous voyage. You might begin at the heart, seeing it as a radiant sun pulsing with golden light. I bless my heart, you say inwardly or aloud, for it is strong, steady, and faithful. Then you ride the surge into the lungs, where each breath infuses your blood with fresh oxygen, and you affirm, I bless my lungs for filling my blood with the breath of life. As you flow to the brain, you imagine the current bringing clarity and illumination, declaring, I bless my brain with perfect circulation, vitality, and divine intelligence. Through the digestive system, you affirm nourishment. Through the liver and kidneys, you affirm cleansing and renewal. Through the muscles and joints, you affirm strength and flexibility. Through the skin, you affirm radiance and protection. This visualization is not mere fantasy. It is a way of giving the subconscious both imagery and language to work with. The mind speaks in pictures as fluently as it does in words, and when the two are combined, their influence is multiplied. The subconscious, receiving these vivid impressions, responds by making subtle adjustments to the body's chemistry, circulation, and energy flow, gradually shaping the physical reality to match the mental blueprint. Tesla often likened this to a gardener walking through a vast estate, touching each plant and speaking words of life to it. The bloodstream is your estate's irrigation system, and your affirmations are the life-giving waters that nourish every living thing it reaches. By taking time to mentally accompany your blood on its rounds, you are actively participating in the maintenance of your inner garden. Over time, this practice deepens your awareness of the body as a living temple, teaches you to appreciate its intricate design, and reinforces your role as the conscious steward of its health. And the more often you make this journey, the more your body will reflect the blessings you have spoken into its every corner. If the bloodstream is the great river of life, then resentment, bitterness, and unforgiveness are the debris and blockages that constrict its flow. Murphy taught with unwavering clarity that forgiveness is not merely a moral virtue, but a physiological necessity for unresolved emotional tension sends a constant signal of disharmony to the subconscious. This signal, in turn, is translated into the body's language, tightened vessels, disrupted rhythms, and a subtle but persistent drain on vitality. When the mind clings to past hurts, the bloodstream often mirrors that constriction, as though carrying the weight of those grievances through every cell it touches. To free the flow of life within you, you must speak words of release not only toward others, but toward yourself. Begin by acknowledging that forgiveness is not condoning an action, but liberating yourself from the ongoing damage of reliving it. Sit quietly. Bring to mind the person, event, or even part of yourself that you have struggled to forgive, and imagine it as a dark knot in the river of your blood. Then, with a calm yet firm voice, declare, I freely forgive and bless all, and I am blessed. My blood flows clear and free, carrying peace to every cell of my body. Feel as you speak that not dissolving, the current smoothing out in a lightness returning to your whole being. Tesla pointed often to the words of Romans at 12:14. Bless and do not curse as a direct instruction for health as well as spirit. Every curse, whether spoken aloud or harbored in thought, is a negative command to the subconscious, and it will execute it faithfully to your own detriment. Conversely, every blessing you speak, even toward those who have wronged you, is a positive command that enriches the speaker as much as the one blessed. By choosing blessing over bitterness, you change the chemical and energetic composition of your bloodstream, flooding it with life. Affirming signals that promote healing and harmony. The transformation that follows forgiveness is often profound. People report improved sleep, lowered blood pressure, lighter moods, and a renewed sense of vitality. Sometimes within days of releasing a long-held resentment, it is as though the river of life, once dammed by anger, begins to surge again with renewed force, washing away stagnation and restoring the natural rhythm of divine order. Forgiveness, then, is not only an act of spiritual obedience, but a direct and practical method of restoring the flow of life through your blood. When you bless instead of curse, your bloodstream becomes a carrier of peace, and your body, in faithful obedience to that inner atmosphere, responds with health. To live in full harmony with divine order, it is not enough to command your blood in isolation. You must also align yourself with the greater flow of life itself. Tesla often reminded his students that the river coursing through your veins is not separate from the universal river of divine energy that sustains every living thing. Just as a tributary draws its vitality from the great body of water it joins, so your bloodstream draws its life force from the infinite ocean of spirit. When you see your own circulation as part of this vast and unbroken current, your affirmations take on a power far beyond the personal. They become declarations of unity with the source of all health, harmony, and abundance. Begin by quieting your mind and picturing yourself standing at the edge of a great luminous river. Its waters clear, strong, and endless. Imagine stepping into it, feeling its gentle current merging with the rhythm of your own heartbeat. As you sense this unity, speak words like, I live in the current of divine harmony. My blood flows as part of the universal river of life, carrying peace, strength, and renewal to every part of me. Feel that these waters are not only flowing through your body, but also through the world around you, linking you to every living thing in a network of shared vitality. Murphy taught that when you affirm this connection, you remove the subconscious barriers that arise from seeing yourself as a separate, isolated being. The body begins to respond not only to your individual intention, but also to the inexhaustible energy of the whole. Fatigue, weakness, and disorder lose their hold when you no longer believe you must generate all your strength from within your own limited resources. Instead, you open yourself to the ceaseless supply of life force that has no beginning and no end. Living in alignment with the greater flow also transforms how you move through your day. You begin to speak not only for your own health, but for the well-being of the whole, blessing the water you drink, the food you eat, the air you breathe, knowing that these two are channels of the same divine current. In this state, your affirmations to your blood are no longer isolated commands. They are part of a larger symphony of harmony that reverberates through every level of your being. And as you remain conscious of this connection, you will find that your health is no longer something fragile to be guarded, but a natural expression of the unbreakable unity between your body's river of life and the infinite ocean from which it flows. The words you speak to your body in private moments carry immense creative power. But Tesla was careful to point out that your public and private body talk must be in agreement if you wish to see lasting results. Many people, he observed, will speak affirmations alone in the quiet of their morning or night rituals, only to undo their work by making casual self-deprecating remarks about their health in conversation with others. The subconscious mind does not categorize your statements as serious or just joking. It accepts them all as literal commands. If in private you declare, "My blood flows strong and pure," but in public you say, "I'm getting too old for this," or "My health isn't what it used to be," you are sending conflicting instructions, and the subconscious, receiving both, will act in accordance with the dominant emotional tone, often to your detriment. To align your inner and outer speech, you must first cultivate awareness of what you say about your body at all times. This requires attentiveness in everyday situations. The office chatter, the friendly complaint, the offhand remark at a family gathering. Each time you are tempted to speak negatively about your health, pause and either say nothing or replace the comment with a statement that affirms your divine order. For example, instead of saying, "I feel so run down," you might say, "I'm restoring my energy every day." Such phrases not only preserve the integrity of your private affirmations, but also subtly reinforce your belief by making you the kind of person who speaks life in all circumstances. Murphy also encouraged the practice of silent inner dialogue, the unspoken words that run through your mind all day long. Even if you guard your public speech, the subconscious is constantly listening to your inner voice. If that voice is full of worry, criticism, and self-pity, it will program your body accordingly. This is why he taught that your private thought life must be as disciplined as your spoken words. Train your mind to default to affirmations that support your health. I am whole. My blood is in perfect order. Life flows through me abundantly. Over time, these become the mental background music that sets the rhythm for your entire being. When your public speech, private affirmations, and inner dialogue are all moving in the same direction, the effect is like a river, free from opposing currents. It flows swiftly and without obstruction toward its destination. In this unified state, your commands to your blood carry a force and consistency that the subconscious cannot resist, and your body will respond by bringing your words into visible, tangible reality. Even with the best intentions, there will be moments when you slip, when a word of complaint escapes your lips, or when you catch yourself telling a story about your health that contradicts the divine order you've been affirming. Murphy understood that such moments are part of the human experience and that they need not derail your progress if you know how to correct negative self-talk about health immediately. The key is speed. The faster you neutralize a harmful statement, the less chance it has to take root in the subconscious and begin shaping your physical reality. He taught a simple yet powerful technique for this correction. The moment you notice that you've spoken or even thought something contrary to your help, interrupt it with a cancellation phrase such as, "That's not my truth. My truth is," and then replace it with a strong, positive declaration. For instance, if you hear yourself saying, "I feel like I'm coming down with something," you might immediately follow with, "That's not my truth. My truth is that my body is strong, my blood is pure, and divine order is at work in me." Now, this act of conscious revision sends a clear signal to the subconscious that the first statement was an error, while the second is the real command to follow. Tesla likened this process to catching a spark before it becomes a fire. A single careless statement, if left unchecked, can ignite a chain of subconscious activity that gradually manifests in the body. But if you catch it early, you extinguish the spark and replace it with the light of truth. Over time, this practice sharpens your awareness so that you make fewer and fewer negative statements until your speech becomes a steady stream of life-affirming commands. This vigilance does more than protect you from harmful suggestions. It also strengthens your identity as someone who takes conscious authority over their inner and outer words. The more you practice immediate correction, the more your subconscious comes to trust that you mean what you say in your affirmations. It learns that stray words are to be ignored and only the consistent corrected truth is to be acted upon. In this way, every slip becomes an opportunity to reinforce your mastery over the creative power of speech. The result is a purer mental atmosphere, a stronger alignment with divine order, and a bloodstream that flows in obedience to the unwavering truth you have chosen to live by. There is a special magnification of power that occurs when spoken blessings are offered in unity with others, a phenomenon Murphy often described as group healing through spoken blessing. While your individual words to your blood are potent, the combined affirmations of two or more people united in thought and intention generate a resonance that the subconscious mind receives with even greater authority. This is rooted in the spiritual law expressed in Matthew 18:19-20. If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. When applied to the healing of the body, this law becomes a way of amplifying your own commands with the faith and agreement of others. To practice this, you might gather with a trusted friend, family member, or small group who understands and respects the principle. One person speaks the affirmation aloud, while the others silently or verbally agree, holding the same image of health and divine order in their minds. For example, if you are addressing your blood, your partner might say, "We affirm together that your blood flows pure, strong, and in perfect harmony with divine order, carrying life and vitality to every part of your being." As they speak, you receive the words not as a suggestion, but as a living decree, knowing that your subconscious is registering them with the added force of collective agreement. Tesla pointed out that when you bless another person's body in this way, you are also blessing your own, because the subconscious does not entirely distinguish between what you affirm for others and what you affirm for yourself. Every statement of health and harmony you speak into someone else's bloodstream plants seeds of the same quality in your own. This reciprocal blessing creates a flow of life between people, a shared current of vitality that seems to multiply with each exchange. Such group practices are not limited to physical gatherings. They can be done over the phone, through written words, or even silently at a distance. For the language of the subconscious and the spirit is not bound by space. What matters is the sincerity of the agreement and the clarity of the intention. Over time, those who engage in regular group healing often report accelerated results, deeper emotional peace, and a profound sense of connection not only to one another, but also to the greater flow of divine life that animates all. In this way, speaking health into another's blood becomes a sacred act of shared creation, one that enriches both the giver and the receiver, and affirms the truth that life and blessing are most powerful when they circulate freely. When you have practiced speaking to your blood with clarity, consistency, and faith. When you have aligned your private and public speech, corrected negative statements, and perhaps even joined in the collective agreement of group blessing, you will begin to witness the emergence of what Tesla called the life reordered. This is the point at which divine order is no longer a concept you are trying to install into your subconscious, but a living reality that flows naturally through your entire being. Your blood no longer needs to be constantly reminded of the command, because it has accepted the new pattern as its permanent marching orders. The stream has been cleared of debris, the currents have been set, and the river of life flows as it was always meant to. In this state, you often notice not only the absence of symptoms that once troubled you, but also a new level of vitality that seems to surpass anything you have previously known. Your sleep becomes deeper, your energy more sustained, your mind clearer, your mood lighter. You may find that you recover from exertion more quickly, that your skin takes on a healthy glow, that even your posture reflects a quiet confidence in the body's strength. These changes are not random. They are the inevitable outcome of having given your subconscious again and again the same unwavering command of health and harmony until it became the unquestioned law of your inner world. Tesla likened this to a musician who, after years of practice, no longer thinks about each note or movement, but plays with effortless mastery. In the same way, your affirmations cease to feel like practice, and instead flow from you as a natural expression of who you are. You no longer speak health as if you were trying to create it. You speak it as a description of your present reality. And because the subconscious continually shapes the body to match the dominant mental image, this state of effortless affirmation sustains itself with minimal conscious effort. From here, the work shifts from installation to maintenance. You remain vigilant, not out of fear of losing your progress, but out of reverence for the law you now understand governs your life. You may still repeat your affirmations, not because the command has been forgotten, but because speaking them fills you with joy, gratitude, and a sense of partnership with the divine intelligence within you. In this way, the life reordered is not a destination, but an ongoing experience, a daily participation in the flow of divine order through your blood, your body, and your world. And as this state becomes your norm, you will find that it not only sustains your own health, but also radiates outward, inspiring and uplifting those whose lives you touch. Now, as we arrive at the culmination of this teaching, it is fitting to weave all the threads together into a single living practice, a final call and blood affirmation loop that can become the heartbeat of your daily life. This is not merely a repetition of earlier affirmations, but the distillation of the entire law you have learned, the law of command, the reality of divine order, and the unwavering responsiveness of your body to the words you speak in faith. Tesla would remind you that every word is a seed, every affirmation a blueprint, and every declaration a decree that your subconscious will translate into the fabric of your physical experience. By closing with a rhythm of spoken truth, you anchor this knowledge so deeply that it continues to operate even when you are not consciously thinking about it. The loop begins with the acknowledgement of the law. My word is creative power. My body obeys the law of divine order. My blood listens and responds. Now, these opening statements set the tone, reaffirming your authority and the body's readiness to comply. From there, you move into health. Every drop of my blood flows pure, strong, and free. Every cell is nourished and renewed in perfect harmony. Then, into vitality. Life surges. Through me, energy fills me. I move with strength and grace into peace. My blood carries calm and balance to every part of me. I live in the rhythm of divine harmony into abundance. The river of life within me overflows with strength, joy, and renewal, and finally into unity. I am one with the infinite life of God, my body, my mind, my spirit, all in perfect order now and forever. This loop can be spoken slowly, allowing each phrase to resonate and take root, or rhythmically, almost like a chant, building a wave of energy and conviction. Some may choose to repeat it 3 times in the morning, 3 times at night, and once whenever they feel the need for renewal during the day. Others may prefer to set it to gentle music, or recite it while walking, breathing, or visualizing the river of blood flowing through their body. However it is practiced, the loop serves as both a reinforcement and a celebration, a way to live in conscious partnership with the life force that sustains you. Tesla would say that the true measure of success is not only that your body heals, but that you have awakened to your role as its rightful commander. When you live with the awareness that your blood will obey your word, you begin to speak with more care, more love, more reverence for the creative power entrusted to you. And as you carry this loop in your heart and on your lips, you will find that health is not something you chase or protect, but something that flows from you as naturally as the river flows to the sea. The law is constant, the order is divine, and your word is the key that unlocks both. Speak it, believe it, live it, and watch your life align in perfect harmony.